Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we are reading King of Wrath. Make sure y'all are hitting that subscribe button so you can keep up to date on all the chapters and keep up with all the books that we are reading through this series. This is the first book of the Kings of Sin series. So right now we are going to open it up to chapter 19. Where we are still in Bali with Dante and Vivian for Thanksgiving with his parents. And it's going well, I like to think. Things are looking up for Dante and Vivian with their relationship. Kind of liking where it's going so far. So let's get into chapter 19 where we are in the eyes of Dante. A Thanksgiving Day call from Dante Russo. Christian's drawl rolled over the phone. I'm honored. You're the one who emailed me first on a federal holiday, Harper. I'd retired to my room after cleaning up. My parents and Luca went downstairs and I wasn't in the mood to play late night Uno or whatever the hell they were doing. My parents would continue to be inappropriate and my brother would bug me about Vivian. No fucking thank you. Sorry, I got cat hair in my nose. Oh, yes, Christian's voice sobered, a sign he was entering business mode. We found another set of photos in a safety deposit box registered to an Elias. Total count is now 5. Francis was a paranoid bastard. Do you think there's more? I glanced at the ensuite bedroom. The sound of running water leaked under the closed door like erotic white noise. Vivian was in there, wet, naked. Heat and annoyance rushed through me in equal measure. I turned my back to the door and waited for Christian's response. There could always be more, he said. That's the game we're playing until we can confirm exactly how many backups Francis has. That's blackmail that they're talking about. The blackmail photos that Francis is using towards Dante. Basically, I was playing chicken with my brother's life. I could call Francis's bluff, but I rubbed an aggravated hand over my jaw. It was too damn risky. My team will continue looking until you tell us to stop. Christian paused. I have to say, I'm surprised you haven't checked in since October. I thought the issue held more urgency for you. I've been busy. The sound resonated with knowing. Or perhaps you're warming up to your bride-to-be. I heard you two disappeared for quite a while at Valhalla's New York gala. My teeth clenched. Why was everyone so obsessed with my feelings towards her? What we do in our private time is none of your business. Considering I'm actively surveilling her father on her request, it's partly my business. Ice clinked in the background. Be careful, Dante. You can either have Vivian or you can have her father's head on a platter. Figuratively speaking, of course. You can't have both. The shower stopped running, followed by a beat of silence and the opening creak of the bathroom door. I'm well aware. Keep looking. I hung up right after Vivian stepped out in the cloud of steam and sweet-smelling fragrance. Every muscle tensed. Objectively, there was nothing indecent about her silk shorts and top. It was the same outfit she'd worn in the kitchen during our snack night, only in black instead of pink. Unobjectively, it should be outlawed. All that skin exposed couldn't be good for her. Never mind the fact that we were in tropical Bali. The outfit was a hypothermia case waiting to happen. Who are you talking to? Vivian loosened her hair from its bun and ran her fingers through the dark strands. They cascaded through her back, begging me to wrap my fist around them and see if they were as soft as they looked. My jaw muscle flexed. Business associate. I'd stayed up late the past 3 nights, so I wouldn't have to share the room with Vivian while we were both awake. She was always asleep when I came in, and I was always gone when she woke up. She didn't have that option tonight. Apparently, Vivian wasn't in the mood for card games with my family either, so we were stuck in the same room. awake, half-dressed, together. Fuck my life, right? On Thanksgiving, Vivian smoothed body lotion all over her arms, oblivious to my torture. I should have stayed in the damn living room. Money doesn't rest. I turned my back to her and pulled my shirt over my head. The air conditioning was on full blast, but I was burning up. I tossed the shirt over the arm of a nearby chair, and faced her again, only to find her staring at me with wide eyes. What are you doing? Getting ready for bed? I cocked my eyebrow at her, visible horror. I sleep hot, Mia Cara. You wouldn't want me to roast to death overnight, would you? Don't be dramatic, she muttered, setting her lotion back on the dresser. You're a grown man. One night of sleeping with your clothes on won't kill you. Vivian's eyes dropped to my bare torso before she quickly looked away, her cheeks red. A knowing smirk worked its way onto my mouth, but it quickly faded when we turned off the lights and climbed into bed. Making sure to stay as far apart as possible, it wasn't enough. The California King was large enough to host a small orgy, but Vivian was still too close. Hell, I could be sleeping in the bathtub with the door closed, and she'd still be too close. Her scent stole into my lungs, blurring the usual crisp edges of my logic and reasoning, but her presence burned into my side like a open flame. The murmur of our breaths overlapped in a heavy, hypnotic rhythm. It was 11:30. I could reasonably sleep until I could reasonably wake up at 5, 6.5 hours. I could do this. I stared at the ceiling, my jaw tight, while Vivian turned and tossed. Every dip of the mattress reminded me she was there, half naked, close enough to touch, and smelling like an apple orchard after a morning rainstorm. I didn't even like apples. Stop it, I ground out. Neither of us will get any sleep if you insist on moving around like that all night. I can't help it. My brain is... She blew out a breath. I can't sleep. Try. The sooner she fell asleep, the sooner I could relax, relatively speaking. What great advice. She said, can't believe I didn't think of that. You can start a Dear Dante column in the local newspaper. Were you born with a smart mouth, or did your parents buy it for you after their first million? Vivian let out a sardonic breath. If my parents had their way, I wouldn't have said anything except yes, of course, and I understand. A twinge of regret softened my aggravation. Most parents want obedient children, except mine, who didn't even want children at all. It struck me that Vivian knew more about my family dynamics than I did hers, which was ironic, considering she was the more open one in our relationship. I rarely discussed my parents, both because my gossip mills churned over time, and because my relationship with them was no one's business. But there was something about Vivian that pulled reluctant admissions and long-buried secrets out of me. Are your parents upset we're not celebrating Thanksgiving with them? I asked. No, we're not. We're not big on holidays. Of course, I knew that. More silence. Moonlight spilled through the curtains and splashed liquid silver across our sheets. The AC hummed in the corner, a quiet companion to the thunder rumbling in the distance. The sense of an impending rainstorm snuck past the windows and soaked the air. It was the type of night that lured people into drowsy disclosures and deep sleeps. For me, it had the opposite effect. Energy buzzed like a live wire under my skin, heightening all my senses and setting me on edge. How much did your family change after your father's business took off? We touched on the topic after our engagement shoot, but she hadn't gone in depth about it beyond the arranged marriage expectations. Since neither of us could sleep, I might as well try to get some intel out of Vivian. Plus, the conversation kept my mind off other, more impure thoughts. A lot, she said. One day, Agnes and I were attending public school and eating school lunch. The next, we were at a fancy private academy with gourmet chefs and students showing up in their chauffeured limos. Everything changed. Our clothes, our house, our friends, our family. At first, I loved it because what child wouldn't love dressing up and having new toys? But she drew in a deep breath. The older I got, the more I realized how much money changed us. Not just materially, but spiritually, for a lack of a better word. We were new money, but my parents were desperate to prove we were just as good as the Boston's old money elite. There's a difference, you know. I knew. Hierarchies exist even especially in the world of the rich and powerful. The desire for validation consumed them, especially my father, Vivian said. I can't pinpoint the exact turning point, but I woke up one day and the funny, caring man who'd carried me on his shoulders when I was a little girl and helped me build sandcastles on the beach was gone. In his place was someone who would do anything to reach the top of the social ladder. If she only knew. I'm not complaining, she continued. I know how lucky I am to have been raised with the money we had, but sometimes, another more wistful breath, I wonder if we would have been happier had Loud Jewel stayed on the tiny shop on the side street in Boston. Jesus. An unfamiliar ache settled in my chest. She and Francis shared the same blood. How could they be so damn different? Sorry for rambling, she sounded embarrassed. I didn't mean to talk your ear off about my family. You don't have to apologize. Her words were sad, but her voice was so sweet I can listen to it forever. This beats counting sheep. Her laugh carried into the night like a soft melody. Are you saying I'm putting you to sleep? Our legs brushed and muscles tensed at the brief contact. I hadn't realized how close we've gotten. Against my better judgment, I turned my head to find her doing the same. Our gazes met, and the rhythm of our breaths splintered into something more jagged. Trust me, I said quietly, all of the things you do to me, putting me to sleep isn't one of them. Moonlight kissed the curves of Vivian's face, accentuating the hollows of her cheekbones and the sensual fullness of her lips. Her eyes shone dark and luminous, like precious stones gleaming in the night. Surprise glints in the depths of the words, along with a smoky wisp of desire that made heat curl in my groin. I hadn't touched her since our tryst in the Valhalla's library, but all I wanted in that moment was to see those eyes darken with pleasure again, to feel the softness of her body pressed against mine, and hear her breathy little cries when she climaxed against me. My blood pounded in my ear. The breeze from the vents grew hotter, the air thicker. The electricity from dinner returned and stretched the moment into one long, perfect thread of tension. We should go to sleep, Vivian breathed. There was a slight shake in her voice. It's late. Agreed. From a suspended moment, neither one of us moved. Then another boom of thunder crashed in the distance, and the tension exploded with the force of a lit match in a barrel of gasoline. My mouth crashed down onto hers, and her arms wrapped around my neck, pulling me flush against her. A low moan vibrated against my mouth when I rolled on top of her and pinned her hips between my thighs. Raw desire took over, eradicating thoughts of anything except Vivian. No Francis, no Luca, no blackmail, just her. I stroked my tongue against the seam of her lips, tasting her, demanding entry. They parted, and the heady, intoxicating taste of her coated my tongue. I cupped the back of her neck and angled her head so I could deepen the kiss. Her hands sank into my hair. My palm swept beneath her top and over her stomach. We kissed like we were drowning, and the other person was like our only source of oxygen. Wild, frantic, desperate. And still wasn't enough. I needed more of it, more of her. Dante, her soft cry, when I cupped her breast almost undid me. Keep screaming my name, sweetheart. I kissed my way down her neck and chest, eager to map every inch of her body with my mouth. I closed my mouth around a clothed, peaked nipple and pinched the other between my thumb and fingers, eliciting another moan of my name. Approval rumbled in my chest. That's a good girl. I made my way down her chest, down her stomach, to her thighs. My journey languid, desperate, the need raging through me. I smelled Vivian's arousal before I tugged her shorts and underwear down, but the sight of her pussy, so wet and ready and fucking perfect, hit me like a shot of pure heroin. Please, she panted. Her grip strangled my hair when I nipped the soft skin of her inner thigh. My cock pulsed so hard it ached, but I didn't touch it, too focused on the glistening temptation in front of me. Please what? I received only a whimper in response. Please eat out this pretty little cunt of yours, I taunted, my soft voice but the words rough. Tongue fuck you until you beg me to let you come? You have such a smart mouth, Miyakara. Use it. Yes. The word was half plea, half demand. I need your mouth on me, Dante. Please. This time, the sound of her voice moaned my name in that way did unravel me. I pushed her legs further apart and delved in like a man starved. I focused on her swollen clit, licking and sucking until her cries of pleasure crescented to the edge of pain. Vivian writhed and bucked, begging me to stop 1 minute and keep going the next. She was dripping all over my face, and I couldn't get enough. I was addicted to the taste of her, to the way she sounded when I buried my tongue inside her, and the way her back arched off the bed when she finally came with a full body shudder. I waited for her trembles to die down before I touched my tongue to her sensitized clit again and gave it a slow, leisured lick. Hayo un sampor de vino? I murmured. No more, she pleaded. I can't. Oh, God. Her protest split into another moan when I slid 2 fingers inside her, up to the first knuckle. I kept my mouth on her clit and slowly worked my way up to the second knuckle, before I pulled my fingers out and pushed them back in and out, faster and faster, my mouth still exploring her clit until she drenched my face and her sharp cries filled the room again, my cock throbbing in time with my pulse. As I pushed myself onto my knees, Vivian stared up at me, her cheeks flushed and her chest heaving from the aftermath of her orgasm. A light sheen of sweat misted her skin, and her face was so full of trust and satiated pleasure it made my gut twist. No one has ever looked at me like that before. Just like that, a cold trickle of reality pierced my fog of lust. It suddenly hit me who we were and what I'd done. We weren't a normal engaged couple. She was the daughter of the enemy, and I'd been forced into this engagement. Even if she didn't know it, I wasn't supposed to like her, much less desire her. Vivian wrapped her arms around my neck and pressed her hips up against mine. The message clear. Fuck me. I wanted to. My body screamed for it. My cock ached for it. It would be so easy to sink into her softness and let it carry us away for the night. But if I did, there would be no going back. Not for her and not for me. My hands fisted on the mattress as indecision wared. You can either have Vivian, or you can have her father's head, on a platter, figuratively speaking, of course. You can't have both. Ice water doused the remaining heat in my veins. Of all the voices I wanted to hear in bed, Christian's ranked in the bottom 5, but the bastard had a point. Vivian didn't have a perfect relationship with her family, but she still cared about them. One day soon, She'd find out the truth about our engagement and her father's deception, and she'd be devastated. Adding sex to the mix would have complicated things further. Dante? Tentativeness crept into her voice at my hesitation. God damn it. I unwound her arms from my neck and straightened, trying to ignore the hurt and confusion on her face. Get some rest, I said roughly. It's been a long day. I didn't wait for an answer before I got out of bed, headed into the bathroom, and locked the door. I turned the shower as cold as I could go, letting the icy water blast some fucking sense into me. Self-loathing formed a concrete block into my chest. What the hell was I doing? Kissing Vivian, letting my guard down, almost having sex with her in my parents' villa, for Christ's sake? I'd intended to stay away from her until I took care of her father and ended our farce of an engagement. Now here I was, taking a cold shower at midnight, so I didn't fuck up my plans any more than I already had. I'd spent my life honing my control. Enzo Russo had drilled its importance into me since I was a kid. Even when I was occasionally lose my temper, I never lost sight of the bigger goal. But I'd also never met anyone like Vivian. Of all the people in my life, she was the only one who can make me lose control. Wow, guys. That was pretty hot. I really think that, they should have had sex, but that's just me. What do you think? Every time I think it's going great and their relationship is progressing, even though it's not supposed to, I'm rooting for them. Like, I want them to go full Monty, let's go. Happy ever after.